Joanna Card's a registered psychologist, partnered with Lionheart, and she's going to bring up a very special young man who is courageous enough to come up and tell his story, but let's bring up Joanna first. Come on up here, Joanna.
Hi everyone, really happy to be here with you all. I am absolutely thrilled to introduce you to Nico, who is one of the bravest and funniest and coolest young people I've worked with, thanks to the Lionheart Foundation. Nico will tell you his inspiring story of overcoming trauma and debilitating social anxiety, and how he navigates an often challenging world as someone with multiple marginalized identities. Please join me in welcoming Nico and celebrating his journey to wellness and authenticity.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Nico. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm truly honored to have the opportunity to share my life story and the profound impact that the Lionheart Foundation has had and can have on someone's life. As a transgender man, my mental health journey has had many twists and turns. I appreciate that my story may not be typical of the ones you are accustomed to hearing, but I know in my heart that my anxiety and mental health challenges are just another variation in the spectrum of complex youth anxieties that you've heard about today. I didn't wake up one day with the clarity that my body and brain weren't aligned. This has taken me years of struggle with anxiety, which led to counseling and self-discovery. My early years were awkward and ostracizing, causing struggles with feelings of being different. I didn't know why I felt different than other kids. I just kind of did. I found it hard to form lasting friendships and was sort of bullied. This feeling of being on the outside intensified when I entered middle school and was hit with two major events. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I was experiencing my female puberty. She came out of her treatments fine, but I was left with pretty severe anxiety and depression. I became withdrawn and unable to speak to anyone I didn't know. Simple tasks like answering the phone or ordering a drink at a coffee shop became super daunting. I just couldn't do it. We thought this anxiety was entirely due to my mother's cancer, and that was the first time that I went to a therapist. It didn't really seem to help, but looking back now, the part of the puzzle we were missing was the onset of that female puberty. I was still grappling with how my body seemed to betray me every month without understanding why. Fortunately, we found a pediatrician, and my mom was able to find a new therapist who was able to connect us with a subsidy through the Lionheart Foundation to support my treatment. This gave me the tools to navigate those feelings. I came out to my family when I was around 13, explaining my queer identity, and I was met with overwhelming acceptance from them, which I'm super, super grateful for. At this point, my therapist and I adjusted my therapy plan and transferred my care to another Lionheart therapist who had greater expertise in gender dysphoria, and that was Joanna. Her personality and expertise have been instrumental in my journey. She has a wonderful sense of humor, and she has an uncanny ability to match my mood of the moment. She is an integral part of my support group alongside my family and the doctors at the Mediclinic who helped me receive the gender-affirming care I needed. That care gave me the time and space to explore my identity without other dysphoria exacerbating factors. In middle school, I gradually began to open up, changing my name and pronouns publicly. My family and teachers were largely supportive, but not all my peers were, of course. I remember one specific time, another student challenged my pronouns fairly confrontationally to my face, and one of my close friends stood up for me and said that my pronouns were of no concern to anyone but me, which felt really great and helped. At this stage, I was still struggling with anxiety, and I was fully unable to speak to strangers. Through the support of Joanna, I decided to audition for a theater arts program at Central Memorial High School, which meant I had to go up on stage in front of a panel of teachers I didn't know and performed a monologue. Not very well, but that's okay. Sensing my nervousness, they actually asked me to sing "O Canada," and I forgot all of the lyrics. So that was super cool. It was super cool and awesome that happened. But I didn't make it into the program at first, but I was still accepted into the school, and then halfway through my first semester of grade 10, I re-auditioned, and then I made it into the program for the rest of my high school career, which was excellent. Thank goodness for Joanna. And then the unexpected happened. That was the COVID-19 pandemic. So it abruptly severed the connections I had finally made in my last year of middle school, leaving me feeling pretty lonely and isolated again, just like a lot of teens. Just like everyone, the pandemic left my mental health at an all-time low. I was afraid for my grandparents. I was afraid for my little brother. What if by my going back to school I made them sick? Like, it brought back some of the fears I had concerning my mom's health. The rest of the year was marked by lockdowns, anxiety, and isolations with people wearing masks and everything like that. Plans to get together became impossible, and there were a couple of times that everyone was suddenly isolated for weeks on end. Everyone was suddenly isolated for weeks on end. The running joke was that we were in the Hunger Games because the school would do daily announcements over the loudspeaker where they would just like list people's names, and if your name was called, you just had to leave. So it was like super scary. With Joanna, we increased my sessions to 2 times a week, to every 2 weeks, where she helped me to understand what I could and couldn't control, as well as kept me grounded during that time. She helped me get excited about my future. This was a fresh start for me. I wasn't in school with the same kids who knew me pre-transition all my life. Here, I was just Nico. I also started taking testosterone injections around this time, which led to significant changes like the deepening of my voice and growth of body and facial hair. These physical changes were super affirming and helped boost my confidence significantly. For many trans people, gender-affirming treatment is an integral part of the process. Eventually, my anxiety decreased to the point where I was able to talk to strangers. So I was basically nonverbal around strangers, but my mother has a memory that I didn't realize was meaningful to her. That summer, I ordered ice cream from a food truck for my whole family. I just paid for it and got the change back and said thank you. And I came back and I gave my mom the ice cream and she was crying, and I was like, she was crying, and I was like, why are we crying? But I had never done anything like that before. I'd never been able to do something like that. Yeah. My parents have a modest amount of health benefits, which have a pretty hard cap on them. Once they max out, there's nothing left. It leaves my parents to pay out of pocket for my therapy. For them to pay the full amount would have caused pretty significant financial hardship for our family. So when the Lionheart Foundation helped my parents by subsidizing my treatment, it took a huge pressure off the family, which is really great. As my treatments needed to be increased, there was never a question that the foundation would continue to support us. They didn't say we believe in supporting your mental health journey up to a specified financial amount. They said that we believe in supporting your mental health journey until you gain the skills to manage your anxiety. We were able to book the extra sessions without worrying about the cost, thanks to Lionheart. They were able to focus on me, and they knew I needed these lessons and these sessions, and they were right. Truthfully, I didn't know much about the Lionheart Foundation, and I didn't really know that they were supporting me and my family until I was asked to make this presentation. But I would like to take this opportunity to thank the foundation so much, and all of you who support it, for all that you've given me. You've made a difference in my life. Grade 11 saw healthy in-person friendships, and I started to hang out with people more. This is a pretty stark contrast to the isolation of the previous year. Grade 12, the upward trend continued. I was part of my school theatrical production. I went on a school trip to New York City, which was super cool. And I got a job at the movie theater where the job description is basically just to talk to people I don't know for my entire shift. So I've grown. I went to grad parties. It was a pretty normal high school experience, but that a lot of people take for granted, but not me. Throughout this process, my family and Joanna have been a constant source of support, even as I take a gap year and explore colleges in the hope of gaining some more independence. Compared to what my life looked like 5 years ago, I've made great strides. While I still feel anxious about the future and the world I'm inheriting, I do have a confidant in Joanna who has supported me through so much. And today, I can now look in the mirror and see a face and body that matches the person that I know I am. If not for the Lionheart Foundation's financial support, I wouldn't be the person who I am today. I wouldn't be standing in front of you, and I would not be sharing the innermost details of my journey. The support I've received has been truly, truly life-changing. Thank you so much for listening, and I just want to leave you with one last thing. Support and understanding can make an incredible difference in a young person's life who is struggling with anxiety, and I hope that my story serves as testament to that. So thank you. Thank you.